Hello, and welcome everyone to another episode of Ashraf Talks Football. I say another episode, even though this is probably the first time we're doing this in a while, right, Solz? I think the last time we did a video was probably last year, Bar Munich, if I'm not wrong. Um, but yeah, welcome everyone, and thanks for joining another video, another live stream of Ashraf Talks Football. I think the last one obviously didn't go I'm ashamed to say it didn't go really that well, given how much I screamed and yelled at that Everton match in the watch along. I'm still, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm still fuming. I'm still quite pissed off. But it is what it is. But anyways, we'll get into that. We'll get into that soon. But first, let me introduce my guest. Someone who I should say is kind of a celebrity. You guys have obviously seen him many times before. A good friend of mine as well. Solz from AFTV. Big up, Solz. How you doing, my man?
Nice, bro. Nice to be on the channel. Yeah, man. It's been a while. Obviously, apologies for the voice. I've got a bit of a fever at the moment. So, but again, football
Same.
never dies. So, got to get done what we got to get done.
Yeah, man. It's been mental. I saw you in that the watch along with AFTV sitting at the back. You must have been fuming. Look, we won't get into detail about the game because honestly, God, Lord knows. You know what? I've actually had my say. So I'll give you like a few minutes to start just by discussing that game. I'm not gonna rebuttal or say anything because I've screamed describing that game in three different channels already. Um, so yeah, man, how did you feel about that game?
Yeah, look, I think look, I think I've said my piece as well, but obviously just to kind of summarize it, because obviously it's been a couple of days now. Tensions have kind of calmed down, the emotions have calmed down. Still, when I look back at it 2 3 days later, it still doesn't change the aspect of what happened in that game. I think it's just, for me, it's inexcusable from a manager level or a player level to be going up against an Everton side that are in the bottom end of the table, a team that we're expected to win regardless of injuries or the team out there. We expected to win that game, and specifically with the 11 that we had out. We also, I think, um, Arteta, I would put most of that performance down to Arteta, only because for me, it's absolutely inexcusable for you to take your captain off at 60 minutes, who was just getting into the game. I think 2 or 3 minutes prior, you slotted in Saka, which nearly created a big goal scoring opportunity. Odegaard was feeling the flow of the game. You then take him off and put on Jorginho. Um, and then realize after that, and honestly, this is an unpopular opinion. I said it on AFTV and I'll say it now. It seemed like to me the first batch of substitutions he realized was a mistake, and then tried to cover it by putting on two more players
Mm,
within 10 minutes, because those initial first two substitutions were absolutely horrific. You cannot ever excuse Jorginho being on the field and taking off your main creative player. Okay, and then 75 minutes into the game, everyone knows within Arsenal our two most creative midfielders are Odegaard and Partey. One of them is playing right back, and one of them was hooked off the pitch. That to me is inexcusable. What is happening there? That it just doesn't make any sense to me. You have Kieran Tierney on the bench, who, again, we're not going to get into that, but again had a decent loan spell Sociedad last season. In my opinion, should be playing. You can push Timber to right back and put Partey in midfield. But overall, flat performance, not good enough. Again, bad performances all round, wrong substitutions, and yeah, again, in a game where Liverpool dropped points, and then we're now basically, look, we now failed to capitalize two games in a row. We've now dropped 4 points in two games against Fulham and Everton, which I think is not good enough for a team trying to go for a title. And yeah, man, disaster of a performance, flat, no energy, no pace, slow tempo, wrong subs. The players that came on had no impact, and yeah, it was just, again, it was just bad, which is a contrast compared to the Monaco game that we played on Wednesday.
yeah. I wanted to ask you this before we discuss some of the main topics today. You mentioned that Odegaard sort of stayed, obviously, and shouldn't have come off, and I agree with it. I said it in my watch along as well. I don't understand how we take out our most creative player. What do you have to say regarding the point of? Because a lot of people were saying that he was having a shit game, though. Like if you look at his stats, if you look at his numbers, and the way he was performing up until that time when he was taken off, he was actually having a very poor performance. Um, and that's why it justified taking someone playing that bad off. Do you think that makes sense? You don't think Arteta would be brave then to like show I'm taking someone who's
No,
performing bad, no matter how big he is.
no, because you're taking off a player that's very diverse, and you're taking off a player that you look. We know in football there are certain players that can have bad performances, but because they're individual brilliant players, they can create something called moments of magic. We've seen Salah do it. We've seen big players do it, and you cannot take off one of your best players that can create that one moment of magic. And it doesn't always have to be a goal. It can be a pass. In my opinion, Odegaard had a shocking first half. There was 3 goal scoring opportunities that he hit off target that should have been on target. It's inexcusable to miss those chances. Okay, especially in a game of this magnitude where every game is like a title decider because they're so important. But that doesn't excuse taking him off. It really doesn't. Not within 60 minutes. Because again, he was getting into the flow of the game. And even if we would have won that game against Everton, I still would have said that taking off Odegaard was the wrong thing to do. Because ultimately he was getting into the flow of the game. We said at halftime he had a poor performance. He was getting into the flow. He was creating chances. Literally, he created 2 chances for Saka 10 minutes prior to him being hooked off. It made no sense to me. I'd like for Arteta to come out and tell me what was the logical explanation for taking off Martin Odegaard at the time that he did. That's number one. Number 2, please tell me why Jorginho is being brought on before Thomas Partey. I would love to know this. Unless Partey's got an injury or unless Partey's got a fitness issue, which again, he should have came out and said, then why is Jorginho coming on the field 0-0 over Partey? I need this explained to me, please, because it makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. We're trying to stabilize a game against a team that puts 11 men behind the ball. It's not a counter-attack team. They're not hitting us. And we're not 2-0 up and we need Jorginho to come in and stabilize the midfield. We're on the attack. You bring on your most creative midfielders. You've hooked off Odegaard. You've left Partey on the bench and you brought on Jorginho. That's a horrific substitution. Any match, it doesn't make any sense to me. But again, that's one of the reasons why. And again, Arteta takes full blame for that because again, you criticize and you praise, and you've got to do both ways. All the players that we praise, we have to also criticize. I think Nwaneri came in after 60 minutes and didn't do much. Again, I can't blame the kid. He's 17. But again, Jorginho was misplaced in passing. You saw as soon as we hooked off Odegaard, we went back to the same style of play that we had when he was injured for a month, where we'd hook it to the wide players and we just try and cross it in at every single moment. We had no creativity through the middle, no passes through the middle. It was horrific. Honestly horrific. And I think it's
yeah.
Arteta's got really for that.
Look, I agree with you, and I think I'm actually trying to understand why he played Partey as right back that game. Like, and that too, you've moved Timber to left back, he can play both, but he's obviously better on the right where he can cross with his stronger foot. I think the thing is, I've praised him before for substitutions that he's made. I think Nottingham Forest was a clear indication. He brought on Nwaneri, he brought on Partey. Both of them ended up contributing to goals. Brought on Raheem Sterling, who I think assisted Nwaneri as well. So he's got many games where I've praised him in the past where he's taken the substitutions correctly. But this one specifically, in my opinion, was quite bad. And I don't know if I would go as far. To me, I do think he cost us. I don't know if it's the substitutions that I would say cost us the most. But I would say it's the playing style more than anything else. And look, that brings me to the main topic of conversation about Arteta, right? And his tenure at Arsenal so far. And what I wanted to discuss basically today is just how would we rank Arteta's tenure with Arsenal so far? That's one. And also, do we think he's going to have any sort of success this season? And if the answer is yes or no, depending on that, do we think he's the right man for us moving forward? And I want to just preface all this by saying first, let's get the things we agree on out of the way first. So I think both you and I agree that he's done a fantastic job so far with us from the time he took over, because I know people will reference, 750 million spent, which for me is such a retarded argument, because the reality is he had to spend that kind of money to even get us to where we are right now. In those last 5 years, I went and checked the stats. I would check Transfer Market. We are, I think, 4th for the most money spent in the last 5 years, right? Since he's joined us, basically, right? If you take from the 2020-2021 season, we're currently 4th. Chelsea have outspent us. Man United have outspent us. I think Spurs have outspent us. City have spent just a little less than us, right? So it's only natural that a manager who's been there for that long should be spending that kind of money if we want to compete and challenge,
Yeah,
right?
and I think whenever we speak about financials as well, I think we also have to contextualize where the managers come in at what point in that club's time. Where were they when they came in? What kind of squad rebuild did they need? Maresca's job was very different from Arteta's job. Klopp's job was very different from Pep's job. Everyone's job is individual and contextualized based on the team that you come in and take over and where that team is at that given moment. That's very, very important for you to contextualize. You can't just look at it from a blank statement and go, you spent 800 million, he spent 800 million. It means he should have won something. Arne Slot has spent nothing. Arteta's won 800 million. Why is Slot going to win a Premier League? No, because Slot's come into a better team with proven winners that needed less rebuild. Arteta needed to replace a whole squad, basically. So you have to contextualize this. And fans that just come on and just say, oh, blanket statements. These are just statements that make no sense, essentially.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And that's why I said, in my opinion, if you look at from the time he's taken over the club, I think he's done a very good job. Obviously won the FA Cup in his first half of season. Now, his first full season is the one where I'll say was regression and was a very poor season when we finished 8th and 1-0 and got knocked out of the semi-finals of the Europa League. And I'm not going to lie, like I wanted him out after that season because I've always maintained the same mentality with any club, right? Obviously, mainly for the club I support, but even for other clubs, when I evaluate their managers or judge their managers, I always look at it with the same way. And that is, when a new manager comes in, I don't think it's fair to always say he has to win this by this time, he has to do this by this time, or he has to go and achieve this in this X amount of period. But I always look at progression, right? Every single season, when you come in as a manager, you have to be taking the club forward. That's the one season where I'll say he didn't take the club forward from the previous year, but why I would give him a pass for that season is because the previous year was like half a season only for him. And that year we know was like a COVID year where not a lot of teams could do a lot of business. Obviously, there were no fans in the stadium. So if I look at that season as the starting point, then the reality is he has progressed us year on year because that season he finished 8th, the season after 5th, the season after challenged and finished 2nd, and the season after challenged even better and finished even closer to Man City. So I think all this, so far, up until end of last season, I think he's done a fantastic job. This summer, I don't remember which channel I've said it in, but this was the first I started supporting this club. I've been watching football for a very long time. I've been watching football since '98. I'm an old soul, but I've only started supporting Arsenal since 2006, I want to say, because before that I was heavy into international football. And from the time I started supporting the club up until now, this was the first summer where I actually thought, I think we're going to win the league title. Never have I ever thought that before. Like,
which was not a common opinion across Arsenal fans.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. But what is common though, what was common between everyone else was rivals and Arsenal fans was that we will challenge for the league again. And even if people had City as favorites, they thought we're going to give them a run for their money one more time, right? I think that's like something that's fair to say. Like most people had Arsenal. I think very, very few people thought Arsenal would collapse, right? I'm not saying we have collapsed this season, but I'm saying like very few people thought Arsenal would be far away from it. This was the first time I genuinely believed we're going to win the title because there are other seasons where I genuinely thought, yeah, we have a chance, but I didn't think we were favorites. I didn't think we were the best team going into this season. And this season, I actually thought we were the best team going into the season. And there are many reasons for that. Like but I'm not going to get into them, but there were many reasons for that. And that brings me now to this main point that I'm going to bring, and then I'm going to let you in to give me your opinion. For me personally, I think that this season he is pacing, or the trajectory is regression or stagnation at the very least. I actually made a video on my channel a couple of days ago where I mentioned, have Arsenal really regressed this season? And for me, the answer is no. I think we haven't regressed. I think we have stagnated. Because even if you look at the Everton result, by the way, even if you take the Everton result into account, outside the 3 red card matches, because I think those red cards cost us in all the 3 games, and I think that's like an anomaly. So if you exclude the red card games, our points tally is the exact same as last season for the exact same teams we've played, right? Yeah. So I don't think we have regressed. However, I think we've stagnated, which for me is not good enough, right? Stagnation for me is also as bad as regression, and that's enough for me to say he should go. I don't know. I'll just land on this because then I want to hear your opinion. And that's why I said if he continues on this trajectory, in my opinion, he should be sacked at the end of the season. The only reason I'm not going to say sack him today is because and people are going to laugh at this. It does sound funny, but I don't think we'll win the league. I think the league is gone because not gone mathematically or logically. Because obviously you still have a chance. Chelsea have a chance. We have a chance. Logically, you could even say City have a chance. They obviously will. I don't think they'll win it, but I'm saying these teams have a chance. The only reason, but I still don't think we'll win it. The only reason I'm still like holding on and saying I still want to wait till the end of the season is because I feel there is less than a 5% chance or even a 1% chance that we could win the Champions League. And if there's a 1% chance that we could win the Champions League, I still want to hold on until the end and see it. If you ask me right now, I don't bet. I'm a Muslim, it's haram, I don't bet. But if I was a betting...
I'm not a betting man.
Good man. But if I was a betting man, I would definitely not bet on Arsenal winning the Champions League. But I don't want to say sack him until I see what happens by the end of the season. For me personally, I don't think he's going to win in any major. And my opinion then will definitely be sack him because this season he's regressed or stagnated. And that's what I want to hear your opinion before I go to some of the comments. Big up, first of all, to whoever who's joined us. So Abbas, big up. Jonathan, who says, I like what Mikel has done for the club, but no trophies end of the season. You can't defend him anymore. That's a very fair point. This is Arsenal. It's a huge club. Pressure on Arteta is more than fair. Of course, 100%. There's no question. LFC and Chelsea being above us makes it hard to take both new managers. Yeah, Liverpool, not so much. If we were like a few points behind them, I'd say it's normal. But Chelsea, yes, for me, Chelsea is unacceptable. Big up, my Turkish brother, TKA, Habibi Turkish. Big up. I loved your rant at Allah. I was watching it today morning. I was listening to the podcast. Who says, smash the likes. Yes, guys, please don't forget to smash the likes and share the video. Jonathan says, still in all cups, third in the UCL. It's not all bad. Perspective. Yeah, it's not all bad. And I think Solz is going to probably touch on that in a minute. But I still think it's below the expectations of where we should have been. Big up to Akhtar as well for joining, who says we should not be comparing our season from the first half of last season. We should be comparing our season to the second half of last season. So the thing is, even if you compare it to the first half of last season, Akhtar, I think we should be closer to Liverpool than what we are right now. If we were, I wouldn't be saying any of this. Even if we were 2-3 points behind Liverpool, I would have still said, hey, you know what? I still think we'll overturn that. But we are 6 points with 3 points behind. But yeah, go on. I'll get to the other ones later.
Yeah. So look, I think for us to contextualize the conversation, we kind of have to look at it from the start. The reason why I think that based on the metrics, we won't win the league. I don't think we'll win the league. I don't think we'll win the Champions League. And I think this season will regress from last season in terms of points tally, in terms of achievements, and also in terms of league finish. Now, what we have to look at is how this all started. When Arteta first came in and he finished 8th. And we had a very, very bad team with Socrates and a lot of these players that we needed to replace. And I remember all of the interviews, the journalists, the first thing that they were saying after every match game in that season, I think it was the 1920 season, they were saying Arsenal are years away from challenging for the top 4. They are years away from challenging for the top 4. They need many, many years of rebuild for them to even get into a top 4 race, let alone a title challenging race, because it works in tiers. And then what Arteta ended up doing after that is within one window, he kind of took us from finishing 8th to finishing, obviously in 2021, we finished 8th. After that 2021 season, everyone was saying Arsenal were years away. We're years away from the top 4. And then we went from finishing 8th to finishing 5th. Okay, and we increased our points tally, and then it started to look a lot different. Oh, Arsenal were now top 4 challengers. And the last 2 seasons for me, that Arteta challenge for the league, for me was an overachievement with the players that he had in his squad. Maybe not last season, because last season he spent money on Declan Rice and we bought some big players. But especially the season before that, where we reached 84 points, 88 goals when Saliba got injured. In my opinion, if Saliba would have stayed fit for the rest of that season, we would have won the league. Now, in that season, for me, when I looked at it, I did not look at a team compared to the Liverpool Premier League winning team, to the City Premier League winning team. It didn't look like a team for me that should be challenging for the league with players like Tomiyasu, Ramsdale, and no disrespect, they're good players, but these are not Premier League winners, okay? And Arteta, in my opinion, was overachieving with that team. So I already thought that we was in a forced position. And I was saying it at the time, I was saying it in my interviews. And for us to have obliterated everyone and challenge City to finish, obviously, within 5 points when it came to the end, for me, was a massive overachievement. So now, in my opinion, Arteta year on year has progressed us from putting points tally, goal scored, league position, and in my opinion, even this year so far we've progressed in domestic competition as well, because usually we get knocked out of those early. So we're in all the cups at the moment. So let's leave cups for now. Let's focus on league position. We have to accept that it's not a given for Arsenal to challenge for a league every year. It's not a given, because other teams are going to strengthen. Other teams are going to replace their managers. Other teams are going to end up coming back. We always knew Liverpool were going to come back. Even over the last 2 years, Liverpool, even though they didn't finish 8th or 9th, they finished 3rd. I think Liverpool challenged for like half the season last year with us and City. I remember at Christmas, we were like 5 points off each other. So these teams are always going to come, and these teams have proven winners. I always said Liverpool had a better team than us. I always said City had a better team than us, and we're overachieving. Now, in my opinion, a lot of these players have been exposed. Martinelli's been exposed. His style of play has been exposed. The way he plays has been exposed. The way he dribbles has been exposed. And teams have learned how to play against him. In my opinion, our left-hand side is completely weak. They're good individual players. I'd love Trossard as a backup, but none of those are anywhere near any title-winning left wingers in terms of when you think about the top left wingers in the world. Okay, so our whole left-hand side, in my opinion, is not good enough. Our strikers are not good enough. I showed you a stat the other day about how much money we've spent on attackers in the last 5 years. A horrific stat. We've spent net nothing on attackers. Okay.
Yeah, but whose decision was that? I don't want to cut you off because I have to respond to all the other points, but just for this point, whose decision was that though?
No, that's on Arteta. That's on Arteta, and obviously the board and obviously the recruitment team. Obviously, you know that these things aren't just one person, right? But at the end of the day, we've spent 65 million on forwards since start of 2020. In comparison, City have spent nearly 300 million. Liverpool spent over 200, and obviously Tottenham and Villa have spent over 150, and United have spent obviously way more. So at the end of the day, we have not strengthened our forward line. And this summer, we went into the market and we bought Calafiori, we bought Mikel Merino, we strengthened our midfield, our fullbacks, and you were happy with those signings. So you can't even say to Arteta he should have signed a forward, because you were happy with our transfer window. He then signed Sterling to replace Nelson, who, in my opinion, Sterling's been a regression to Nelson. And Sterling's been
something nobody could have anticipated.
Which no one could have said. So ultimately, we've regressed in our forward line, which when I went into the season, I always knew would be a problem, because at the end of the day, teams are always going to come back. Now, if just to summarize my point, if Arteta is to not win us the league, which I don't think he will, and regress us this season compared to last, for me, it buys him time for 1 or 2 more seasons to make some adjustments over the summer, buy some new attackers, and see where we get to next season. Only because I think that his last 3 or 4 years, where he's took us from being the 8th place team that's 5 years away that needs a rebuild to challenging for top 4, to getting us within a point of City and obliterating every Premier League team around us, that deserves some credit. Arteta is the first manager since Wenger to take us to those sort of levels. So you can't just turn around now and say, because we've had because he's regressed us now, year on year we have to do better. I get it. We have to win something. But ultimately, it's not a given in the Premier League. It's one of the toughest leagues in the world. Teams play well, and that's all it is. And in my opinion, it's so silly for fans like you, sorry to say this, Ashraf, to come out and say stupid things from your mouth, like, oh, I want Arteta to be sacked and regress this season, because you think you're playing a career mode game on FIFA that every year you basically have to win something, otherwise change something up. At the end of the day, football is a process. Things happen. Things go wrong. This is our first season This is our first season now, and I know what you're going to say, but it's our first season in the last 3 seasons that we've had more injuries than the other 2 seasons. We've had to chip chop our defenders a lot. Timber's been injured. Gabriel's been off. Calafiori's been injured twice already. Moreno's been out. Partey's been out. We've had loads and loads of injuries. Tommy Assi's been out however long.
I wanna rebuttal some of these things, because I think, like, you started off well and then you just waffle towards the end, right? By the way, people who have done streams with me or seen me in other streams, I've always maintained consistency with what I say, and that is, I judge Arteta on progression. I literally started the stream by saying it. I judge him on progression. I was on another channel where I was asked about what does Arteta have to do or something like that for me to like back him? And I said, for me personally, if let's say he ends the season, forget the FA Cup and League Cup, right? Forget what happens there. Let's say Champions League, we reach the semi-finals and we lose. And then the Premier League, we finish with more than 90 points and we finish 1 or 2 points behind whoever wins it. As annoying as that is, that we haven't won anything major again, I'm still okay to back him because that he's still showing me that he's progressing and he's getting closer and closer and closer, right? So it's not about, he has to win something. The problem now is he doesn't even look like he's going to progress at all. He looks like he's going to regress on last season. And why your point is absolute nonsense about, it's not FIFA. Nobody said it's FIFA. But there are other top quality managers out there because we have to eventually come to a point where we could say, look, he's done a good job. We've agreed on it at the start. He's taken us from, let's say, here to here. Maybe he's just not good enough to take us here to across the finish line. I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's something crazy to say.
If a manager can take us, if a manager can take us within 1 point of winning the league, he can take us to
2 points. First of all, not 1 point, but 2 points.
If a manager can take us within 2 points to win the league, he can win the league.
No. It doesn't work that way. It
does work.
It works that way. It works that way. If let's say it works that way. If let's say Pep leaves next season and there's no other real threat, fair enough. Of course it does. But the reality is Pep is not leaving anyway for the next 2 seasons, and them having a bad year. One second. Let me land on this. Them having a bad year is bad for us next season.
No, I have one question. If City are as bad as they were last season, next season, and we're as good as we were last season, next season, would you win the league?
Yeah, but the question is, will we get back to that? Because the problem, what you're not taking into account, Solz, is that when a regression happens, sometimes it starts really big.
My follow-up question
is,
why can we not get to last season's form next season? And that's what I'd like to know.
We can, but you're missing the point because you're trying to create this utopian world for Arsenal.
You are the
I'll explain to you why. Because you're saying, what if City are shit again this season? So if I go by probabilities, what's the probability that Arsenal will get to last season's level next season? Let's say 50-50, because I don't want to say definitely, but I also at the same time, I don't want to be a hypocrite and say there's zero chance we could get back to last season's form, right? That's one. So it's a 50-50 thing. It's not a guaranteed thing. Secondly, what is the probability that City will be shit again next season? Very low. Because when they were this shit in 2019-2020 and they finished 19 points behind, right? Next season, they came back again and they started their 4P. That's the first season when they started the 4P thing, and they reached Champions League final because they strengthened and Pep also obviously like made changes and all that kind of stuff. So if I go by the probabilities of the two things happening,
that shows then.
This is without me even considering. One second. Let me just land on this.
This is kind of bad seasons and then come back and do well.
Yeah, but it's different, Solz, because someone like Pep won the league in 2018 with the Centurion season, won the league with 98 points in the second season. So it was understandable to give someone like him with incredible, you're going to get triggered by this word or by the sentence, credit in the bank. It was okay to give him that one bad season because there was precedence to show that he can come back from this.
I understand that.
Because he went through it in Barcelona. He went through it in Bayern Munich.
But as you said, every team is different and we can't compare ourselves to teams that are better than us. We have to hold our hands up sometimes. Compared to where we were as a team 5 years ago to where we are as a team now, we've progressed, and Arteta has been in league position and in the Premier League has taken us to our highest finish since Wenger. And that alone, nobody can turn around and say to me that doesn't buy him credit in the bank for an off season.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Because for me, when a manager comes in and doesn't win anything major, the only credit in the bank you have is progression. As long as you keep progressing, you continue. You keep progressing, you continue. You keep progressing, you continue until you get to the major stuff. If you don't get to the major stuff,
that's in a perfect world.
It's not just about a perfect world. There are many teams, Solz, when their teams go up and suddenly cannot cross that line, they end up sacking managers and they progress. I'm not saying it'll happen to us. We might sack a manager and get worse. But after the season, we have to take that risk, in my opinion, if we end up progressing. Because if you're saying, no, give him one more season, okay, where does the buck end? How long do we go for? And what if he has a similar season next year to the current season? Then what do we say? What if he has... And injuries is such a weird excuse because we're always going to have injury issues. It's never going to be like, one season we're going to get super lucky. Last season, people are saying we were lucky. Okay, Fair enough, we were lucky last season, but that's an anomaly. That's not the rule. You cannot build your
look, what we do know is
hypothesis on exceptions.
The younger your team, the more likely you're going to have less injury because obviously fitter and their bodies are a lot better. So
but there's another thing you're missing. The younger your team, the bigger chances you have of losing these stars, because the younger players have a bigger chance of leaving your club because they're trying to fulfill their potential.
But they've all recently signed big contracts, so they obviously believe in Arteta and his way.
Saliba hasn't, and that doesn't mean anything. If Saka gets approached by Real Madrid and says, "I want to leave,"
our two best players, Saka and Odegaard, are both signed long-term contracts.
Saliba is one of our main guys in defense, and he hasn't signed that contract.
You're now nitpicking the one player who didn't sign. Now I'm going to talk about the.
Let me talk about Saliba. Let me talk about Saka. Fine. I'll pick Saka as an example. Saka has signed a new contract,
Let me finish my point. You're going to say that if they come in, whatever. Any player can leave any club if any club wants to sign them if they choose to leave.
Nah, it doesn't work that way. There are less chances your players leave if your team is successful.
But Ashraf, we don't work on chances. We work on what actually happens, okay? At the end
we
of the day,
work on probabilities.
Real Madrid want Trent, right? Trent wants to leave. He's going to leave. If he wants to stay, he'll sign a deal. That's how these things work. It's not about what are the chances that if Liverpool finish this position, Trent will have a 5% chance of staying at Liverpool more than going to Madrid.
Solz, I can give you an example of a successful team, right? Bernardo Silva 2 seasons ago was tapped out. He wanted to leave. He was checked out. He said, "I don't want to stay."
Yes,
anymore.
I remember. He was linked to Arsenal. Yes, remember that. Yeah.
Whatever. He was linked with Arsenal. He was linked with other clubs. He was linked with AC Milan. Apparently, I don't know why he likes AC Milan. He was linked with Barcelona. And they convinced him to stay. You think if they were not successful, they would have been able to convince him to stay the same way? Of course they wouldn't. No one
is saying that. All I'm trying to say to you is that our players have signed long-term contracts. Saliba is going to sign. Saliba wants to stay at Arsenal. And I've always been iffy about Saliba because I know that obviously I've heard some things about him wanting to obviously go and play in France or whatever. But anyway, let's leave that.
That could be all clubs.
Yeah.
All players, I mean.
Exactly. The point is this: Arsenal have kept their best players on the contract. The players, we are not in a stage now where, in my opinion, we're in turmoil and our players are not playing for the manager and they're not believing. You can always sense. I've watched the Premier League long enough in my years to know when a club is falling apart and the manager's to blame and the manager has to go, because I've seen it. I've seen it when a player is not playing for the manager. I've seen it when players are disheartened. I've seen it when the manager is not getting through to the players. You can sense the tonality in the press conferences.
But no one is saying that's happening.
No one is saying that's happening. So to me, what it looks like to me is the players and Arteta and everybody in the hierarchy of the club are happy with Arteta and the project he's doing. So regardless of what you say, they're all happy with what Arteta is doing. At the end of the day, we know
the owners are not going to sack him. Even if he finishes sixth, they're not going to sack him. We're asking, does it make sense though to say after the season, if he regresses us, he needs to leave?
No. And my point is very clear as to why. Because as I said to you, in my opinion, the 2 seasons we challenged for a league were overachieving. I do feel like our team.
The first one, not the second one. The first one we were over.
The first one with the Tommy Asus and Ramsdales and stuff. Yeah. Even the second one, barring Rice and obviously Partey's injuries, I still don't think we should have challenged for that league as well.
That makes no sense though. Why? We got stronger from the season before that.
Because
how should we not challenge?
Because the team, in my opinion, still isn't good enough. It still isn't good enough. I'm sorry. For me, it still isn't good enough. It's not a well-rounded team, in my opinion. Our defense, I'm happy with it when
this is the man who thinks we have 4 or 5 world-class players and says the team is not good enough. How many world-class players should we have to challenge for a league? 11.
Look. I'm looking at the teams of the past that I've liked. For example, let's use Liverpool as an example, right? But actually, look, at the end of the day, football's changed, right? Because look at Chelsea now. They're probably going to challenge for a league this season, and they haven't got any. Obviously, they've got big £100 million players, Caicedo, Enzo, whatever. But I mean, they've at the end of the day, our team. To me, when our team falls apart in injuries, I'm telling you now, when players like Kiwior, players like when these players are starting, Zinchenko, when these players are not at a level to challenge for a Premier League title, and we can't guarantee.
Why are you naming Kiwior and all? Why aren't you naming Timber and Saliba and Gabriel and Raya and Odegaard and Rice and Partey and Saka? And I don't rate him, Havertz, but he's been doing okay. But even though I don't rate him,
you don't rate him. You don't rate Havertz.
And Moreno, why aren't you? And Trossard, why aren't you naming these guys?
But not rating Havertz as mind games as a stat man, because obviously you know the stats more than me. Obviously, since you joined Arsenal, how many goal involvements have you had? in how many games?
Yeah. But
No,
by the way, I'll answer.
No. Don't answer my question with a question.
I'm
No,
answering.
don't answer my question with a question.
He's
Answer my
asking.
question.
He's asking
Answer
how
my
many goal
question.
contributions.
How many goals?
I'm answering.
No, I'll ask the question. Don't repeat the question. I'll ask the question.
Okay, I need to run the number. Let me see.
How many goal involvement has he had in all competitions since he joined Arsenal? It's a very simple question.
I'm checking. Havertz
checking
stats.
GPG, goal per game ratio as well.
No. I'm just checking his Havertz stats, 2024
You
calendar
know the
year.
stats, you can check it.
I swear to God, I don't. Because you asked me since he started playing as a striker,
Jonathan,
right?
Jonathan, you're saying it's 5 years, it's his squad, no excuses, bro. Look, I'm not saying. Look, I want to win something as much as you guys want to win something, right? I'm not saying that.
Not enough to sack the manager who's not doing us that good.
But just to kind of answer that point, TK, yeah. What I'm trying to say is that football is not a year-on-year thing. Things happen in football. There are so many things that happen internally in a club that mean the whole team doesn't play well. There's managers' tactics. There's injuries. There's the transfer market, who you sign, the recruitment team. There's so many things that happen in a football club. We were not in a place that Chelsea and Liverpool were in when Slot and Maresca took over. We were in a completely different place when Arteta took over. We needed a much bigger rebuild with much more money spent. You can't talk about Maresca coming in, taking over a squad full of 22-year-olds that were always bound to get better by age. The squad's worth over £1 billion. It was the perfect project to come into. Liverpool's Slot he's come into 7 or 8 Champions League winners into the team, and you're comparing him to Arteta, who's come in, Ozil, Aubameyang, Socrates, all of these players, they all had to go. He had to restructure the entire squad. It was a much bigger project. So where Arteta has taken Arsenal from where he started to now is for me has bought him enough time now to have an off season, go into the market, strengthen our forward line because we've spent 65 million on forward since 2020 in the last 4 or 5 years. Make those adjustments up front. Stop being ignorant and believing in players that you have loyalties towards. Jesus is not good enough. Sterling's not good enough.
That has nothing to do with it. Bro, all the big teams Liverpool can do that right now. And Aaron is here on the chat and he can attest to this. They can also say, we have this player who's not good enough. Robertson is not good enough. Tsimikas is not good enough. Joe Gomez is not good enough. Szoboszlai is not good enough.
There is a cut-off point.
They can do the same thing. Every club can do that.
There is a cut-off point. I just have seen my club go through multiple different managers. I've seen Emery. I've seen all the managers since Wenger.
You haven't seen Arsenal go through multiple managers. Why are you lying? You've seen Arsenal go through 3 managers. That's it in your lifetime. Wenger, Emery, Arteta.
If you look at the Google definition of multiple, three's in it. So making it seems in your head. We don't work on what makes it seem. We're what we're saying. Let me finish speaking.
I asked you a question earlier, which you dodged.
Let me finish. No, you dodged my question. You dodged my question.
What's the question?
You still haven't got me Havertz goal involvements. Don't be smart. Bring it up.
I promise you. I'm trying to find the yearly stats and I cannot find it.
No, you're a stat man.
I'm not going to sit and waste time trying to look for Havertz.
No, anyone can bring it up very quickly. Go and find it and let me know. Let me finish my point now.
For 2024, right?
I want to, yes. No. Since he joined Arsenal, I want to reply to Jonathan.
Since he joined Arsenal, then I can get that for you easy. I thought you wanted to start from.
No. My question was very clear 5 minutes ago. So
because if you look at it from last season, it's not going to help you. By the way,
Jonathan,
it's going to be really bad for you, bro.
Jonathan, Arsenal have to have a cut-off point. And if Arteta goes again next season and doesn't win anything and we're in the same position, then that's fine. I'll hold my hands up and I'll say, you know what? Now it's been multiple years. You've gone into the window. You've had chances to fix the situation and you haven't been able to fix it. But the idea that Ashraf sitting here was happy with Arteta's window in over the summer, we've regressed. And now it's time to just sack him. It makes no sense.
By the way, but no, it actually does. You know what? You've done yourself. The fact that I said the summer window for me was I even said it was 7 out of 10. I didn't say it was 10 out of 10 because I thought we should have got a strike.
No.
Wait. No. You made an accusation. Let me land. The fact that I said we signed well, we strengthened well by adding Calafiori and by adding Moreno in 2 positions that affected us last season, that's all the more reason why I'm saying Arteta's doing a bad job.
No, I get you.
I would have been different if it's all on him.
No, I get you. The point that I'm making is that because you were happy with the window. A lot of Arsenal fans saying, I saw it yesterday, someone said, oh, he had a bad window. He signed the wrong players. That's on him. He now should go if he doesn't get us where we need to go to. So that's fine. You saying we had a good window. So Arteta made the right recruitment choices, which in my opinion was a disaster. Sterling was wrong. Moreno, he was needed, but nowhere near as important as we need a forward.
Even if you go by that logic, that means he messed up. Even if you go by your logic, that means he messed up by keeping Jesus. He messed up by keeping Havertz, striker.
But I mean, he deserves time. He deserves time.
How much time? How much time? That's okay. Let's cut to the chase. How much time?
One more season. If he regresses this season,
I want to know.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because
Why?
If we regress this season, he deserves one more opportunity to have another window, go in, restructure some players, buy some forwards, work out. Because in my opinion, the football is good. Obviously, now we're not scoring as many.
Football is bad.
No, we're not scoring as many goals. And our clinical issue has been a big problem this season because despite what Arsenal fans say about we're a corner team, we do create a lot of chances by stat. We do create a lot of chances. We create chances.
We do.
Yeah, so we're not a flat team. We're not just sitting back every game. So I saw United over 2 years sit back and literally counter-attack 18th place teams. I've seen Man United play counter-attack football against Everton. So I'm saying we play good football. We create a lot of chances. Our clinicality issue is a big problem. That's on Havertz. That's on Jesus. That's on Martinelli. How many chances this season Martinelli had that he's missed? And I'm going, what are you doing? How many? Jesus could have got a hat-trick against Monaco. That can't be on Arteta. Jesus not being able to put the ball in the back.
The funny thing is, he's picking the games. The funny thing is, you're picking the games where we won 3-0. How about you talk about Fulham? How about you talk about Everton?
That's fine. We've had flat games. But
that's on Arteta. That's on the system. The players playing slow and not transition.
You're a stat man.
He's on the manager.
You're a stat man.
And I ran the Havertz stats, by the way. He's got 27 GA. He's got 27 GA in 52 games. Right, that's 0.45 goal contribution per game.
So I've asked you for a stat, and you've gone and got another stat, which I've asked you for a different stat.
What stat? You asked me for the goal contribution, right? Or just goals? Because if I give you just goals, it's worse.
I've asked you what is his goal contribution since he joined Arsenal.
Yes, 27 out of 52 in the Premier League. I just answered. 27 out of 52 games.
Are you listening to the question, or are you not listening to the question? Since he joined Arsenal, what was his goal contributions in all competitions?
Why do you care about all competitions? We are talking about the Premier League.
What do you mean?
The Premier League.
What do you mean? You just said.
Okay, fine. I will take his stats in the Champions League as well, because the Champions League is what matters, right? That's what you're trying to get to. I understand you're trying to get to the Champions League. So fair enough. Let me look at Havertz's stats in the Champions League.
No, all competitions. If our
what is all competitions, bro? We haven't played FA Cup yet. He didn't score in the FA Cup last season. Or assist. He got knocked out in the first game.
It's a very simple stat.
It's only the League Cup.
In all competitions.
1 second. I'm getting the stats right now.
What is the stats in all comps? No, Loof, it's not easy padding because if Arteta wins a domestic,
it is easy padding. He is doing that.
No, it's not. I'll tell you why. Because if Arteta wins an FA Cup this season, he's progressed domestically in achievements. So what does that prove? Every team's got to win trophies. We're not a team. We're not like City where we can afford to let trophies go. City winning Community Shields.
30,
City were winning League Cups every year and still celebrating them. Come on, guys. Let's not act like it's a given for us to win an FA Cup. Winning FA Cup is a tough job. Look at United. They had to beat City to win an FA Cup. They had to beat Man City to win an FA Cup. It's still a trophy. You can't just say, oh, it's stat padding. No, these are domestic competitions. Go look at Messi's stats all the domestic cups that he played for.
70, 72, 73, 74.
I know they do, but ultimately
75. Guys, he's got 33 goal contributions in 75 games.
And how many games? No, wait. See, and in how many of those games did he start a striker?
Oh, shut the hell up, bro. This is why when I told you, let me get you to... Wait. This is why at the very beginning, you guys see, this is the difference. No, it's not.
Is that not a good question?
Guys, go back to the stream. Go back to the start of the stream. Go back to 10 minutes, 20 minutes. No, it's not. You know why it's not? Because 20 minutes ago, when Solz brought this up and said, what are his stats since he's joined us? And I told him, let me just look at 2024 because that's when he's played as a striker. No. Look at it from the time he's joined us. because I knew where you're trying to get to. You made your case worse. I
Okay,
told you,
guys,
let me
guys,
see 2024,
guys, do you know
because
what's
that's when he's
embarrassing here?
played
Do
as
you
a
know
striker.
what's embarrassing here, guys? Yeah, and this is the most embarrassing thing is that
You're getting embarrassed, bro. Honestly,
if I go and look at Isak, Isak's the most I've heard him being spoken to by every Arsenal fan saying they'll dream to have Isak in their team. He's a striker. We need him. We have. If you go look at Isak's stats,
show me the stats, Yellow. Show me, since you have them ready.
No. I've got the stats here. I'm going to read out the stats to you in a minute. Let me just finish my point. The overall point that I'm trying to make here, guys, okay, because I don't want to get into individuals now, right? And Ashraf said this. Ashraf said to me, when we have our fully fit 11, we're unstoppable. No team can beat us. Now he's saying Arteta should be sacked.
No. Quote me correctly. Don't lie. I said when we have our best 11, first of all, at home, I said we can win every game. That's one. And I said when we have our full 11, I think it's very difficult to beat us. I stick by that.
No, you said any team to beat us. No, you said it's difficult for any team to beat us in the world.
Yes.
You said
if we have our full team 11, at home.
No, that's
at home.
Fine.
If we go to the Real Madrid Camp Nou, Santiago Bernabeu,
yeah, of course,
I'm not. Okay, yeah, exactly.
Anyway, guys, no. I don't want to go off topic. The point that I'm making is Arteta has done an amazing job over the last 5 years to take us from where we was in the dumps, 8th place, to being a banter club, to now being a team that most people fear over the last 2-3 years.
Good job. Thank you for getting us there now, Neve.
Okay. So because he got us to 1 point behind winning the league, I think he can take us to winning the league. There's small adjustments that need to be made. We've suffered with injuries this season. If he regresses us this season, which I think he will, he deserves a window to go back in the market, strengthen, changes to his style of play, and take us next season. If he regresses us next season, then Ashraf won't have to say anything because I think he'll be sacked anyway. If we were to finish, for example, 4th this season,
I'm not asking you for what
wait. If we
know what's going to happen.
No. If we finish 3rd this season, and then let's say next season we spend 200 million, we buy some attackers, and we finish 4th next season, in my opinion, he'll be sacked. So I'm looking at on a footballing aspect what should happen and what I want to happen. Ashraf and some other fans, I'm not trying to name names, just think, it's a career mode game, and every year has to be something. Every year has to be better.
I never said that.
And you have to win a league this season. Ultimately, we won't win the Champions League, we won't win the Premier League, and we might win a domestic cup, maybe a League Cup or an FA Cup. It's still regression for me. If we regress,
by the way, what did you say about Isak? Just because I got the stats. What did you say about Isak?
No. I moved on from Isak because I checked his stats.
Because exactly. He checked. So this fraud.
Sign Isak. Listen,
he got
sign
Isak.
Listen,
and he said, damn.
No.
Has got a point.
No.
I'm gonna read that because guys.
No,
there are fans who deserve to know the truth.
Hold on, let me see.
Sorry, guys, I know you guys don't know the stats.
Let me speak.
Wait.
Let me finish.
No. I let you talk.
Let me finish.
Let me finish. So Alexander Isak.
He said.
Alexander Isak.
I was trying to say that Isak. Look, I said Isak.
I can mute you, by the way, but I'm out of respect. I'm not doing it. Let me talk. Alexander Isak in 2024. Hold on, 1 second. So Kai Havertz started playing as a striker from January, right? After the Dubai thing, after we came back from Dubai. So I checked the stats. Kai Havertz this year, from the time he started playing as a striker, I have his stats right here. It says Kai Havertz, 33 games, 14 goals, 8 assists, which is 22 goal contributions in 33 games.
22 GA.
Yeah, 22 GA in 33 games, which is
33 games.
Yeah. It's decent. It's okay.
No. That's quite good.
Fair enough. Alexander Isak, the guy who was like, Alexander Isak, 30 games this year, 20 goals, 6 assists, 26 GA.
What you mean this season?
In less games. In this calendar year, 2024. I'm comparing both in the same calendar year.
You're doing it by year.
20 goals and 6 assists.
You're moving like Liverpool now.
Outside the fact that Isak is a better dribbler, Isak is a better passer, Isak is better at holding the ball, Isak is a better shooter of the ball.
No, Ashraf, can I finish?
The goal Isak scored against Van Dijk, Kai Havertz would dream of scoring a goal like that, bro.
In all seriousness, I'm not sitting here ever.
This is how you school someone, guys. Get the actual facts.
It's not how you school someone because I had the stats before him. I actually moved on from the point. So it's not
exactly because you knew you had no point.
No. You can go back on a stream. I did not once say that Havertz had better stats than Isak because before I made the point, I saw the stat and I changed it. So there's
exactly,
no
but you were gonna say it. You were gonna say it.
No, but I checked it and I didn't say it. So obviously, Anyway,
Yeah, so my
to
point
to
is,
the point.
sure. Let's move on for your sake.
To the point. Yeah, look, I'll never say Havertz is better than Isak. Isak's an amazing player. I said that I want him. I said he should join Arsenal. He's one of the key players that fits an Arteta system. Can play multiple positions. Plays in the left, up front. Amazing player. That's fine. We don't have him. I also wanted Bruno Guimaraes. We don't have him. Anyway, this is the point that I'm making. And the point of the whole show that we're discussing today is this, and my point will always remain this. Arteta, I've seen some comments in the chat of people saying, oh, it's not a trophy to compete again. Look, ultimately, he took us from X to X. We were a team in the dumps, 8th place, years away from finishing in the top 4, a banter club, to being one of the most feared teams in Europe, had one of the best away records in Europe
So what?
last season. Let me finish.
How does that matter for this season?
Let me finish. We had one of the best away records in Europe last season. Arteta took us from a team that was the banter club in 8th place, that was getting beaten by basically everyone, to a team that was literally unstoppable at a point last season. We
weren't unstoppable.
Wait. To challenge City down to 1 point. We had to win 10. We had to win every single game of our last 10 games of the season last year. And everyone knows the last 10 of every season.
We lost. We lost one and we drew one.
I know, but I mean,
we didn't win 10 in a row.
No, but we had to win 10 games to win the league. We didn't win it. That's what I'm saying to you. But I'm saying we had to win that. We beat Spurs. We beat Man United at their home grounds.
Yeah, but why aren't you going before that? Because he put us in that position where we had to unfortunately do that.
I know with Aston Villa. I know.
Yeah.
And Fulham.
Fulham and West Ham.
I know that. The point I'm saying is that Arteta took us to one of the best teams in Europe by every metric. We were one of the best teams in Europe. Okay, ultimately, because he's done that, from where we was, it's not a given for Arteta to take us from a banter club to winning a league. He needs to win a league. I agree. But I'm not saying keep him for 10 years. If I was sitting there saying, guys, sign him up for a new 4-year contract. No, I'm saying...
Solz, every single year you give him when he regresses, it's a waste of a year. It's a waste of a year. Imagine if Barcelona thought the way you did and did not sack Xavi. They wouldn't have had Hansi Flick right now.
Ashraf, I know your opinion, bro. I know your opinion. Please. Try and at least understand my opinion, and then say to me, I do. No, let me finish. Let me finish, because I'm not. No, you have to contextualize my opinion, because I'm not sitting there saying sack Arteta, give Arteta a 3-year contract. Doesn't matter what he does. I love him forever. I haven't got no emotional ties. I'm saying if he regressed us this season, give him a transfer window, let him spend some money. Let's see. He gets one more season to try and take us back to the top again. And who knows? We might finish 4th this season or 3rd this season and win no trophies. He may go in the summer.
The issue is...
Let me finish, bro. He may go in the summer.
Because you're going in circles. Okay,
no, he might go in the summer, sign some top attackers, and next season we challenge, maybe win a trophy, maybe win the league.
Okay, a couple of things on that. First of all, there's no track record of him signing top strikers. You yourself said it at the start. So I don't know why you're thinking let's give him one more year when he hasn't shown that track record.
There was no track record. There was no track record of us spending 100 million on midfielders. We still went
but we were on the trajectory in the last 10 years or so. We were on the trajectory of spending more and more money because we spent 40 million. Because we spent 40 million. We broke our record when we signed Ozil for 42 million. A few years after that, we broke that record by signing Lacazette under Wenger. I think 6 months after that, we broke our record again by signing Aubameyang. And then a year after that, we broke our... Wait, let me land. A year after that, we broke our record again by signing Nicolas Pepe. This is all before Arteta came to the club. So we were already on a trajectory where we were spending more and more money. So when Arteta came and took over, us spending 100 million here, 65 million on Havertz, I don't know how much we spent on Partey, I think 50 million at the time or how much ever. That wasn't something crazy. Like, yes, it's we've never spent 100 million before. So I understand we broke the record, right? But we were on a trajectory where we were looking like we were spending more and more money. So it was only a matter of time before we spend that kind of money, especially given the inflation that's happening and how much players are going for now, right? Now, here comes the big thing I also have against giving Arteta more time, especially after what happens this season, if it goes as we expect it to go, right? Because both you and I are already saying it'll probably go in the way we think it'll go, which is correct. We're going to end trophyless, so we're not going to win the major stuff.
By trajectory, yes, yeah.
By trajectory, we're going to regress, right?
Yeah, correct.
The problem for me is, because you're saying give Arteta time. The problem for me is, some of the issues I have with Arteta, which I think will lead to our regression, are his managerial styles, which I don't think he'll change. So I've said this, for example, on the terrace, and I've said this on most channels as well. I've said it on my channel. I had to delete the video because the mic was not working well. if you look at Arteta, if you look at the seasons he's challenged, which is the last 2 seasons, forget the seasons before that, because I understand he was building the team then. He didn't have a proper style. He was trying to get his players. He was trying to get the style ready and all that stuff. If you look at the last 2 seasons ago, we started every game gung-ho, attacking properly, playing proper attacking football on the front foot. We all know how that ended. We bottled the league in the end. And I understood why he started slow last season. I wasn't mad at it, because I understood he wants to make sure he doesn't burn out the players all season. And in the second half, he went crazy. I think what I thought would happen this year is he's going to have a blend of both, right? Which is, for majority of the season, he'll play that slow kind of build-up where we want to control the game. But in certain games, he will play a quick attacking football, especially against certain low blocks. I think with Arteta, the problem is this defensive record from last season has got into his head. Like, Bukayo Saka himself came out after the PSG game this season. I've said it many times, and I'll keep saying it again because it's a real quote. I know it sounds fake, but it's actually real. He came out after the PSG game and said, we are all attack-minded. We want to attack more, but the manager is asking us to play more defensive, and we have to obviously follow the manager's instructions, right? This is Bukayo Saka saying it. He wasn't dissing the manager. For anyone watching, he wasn't like talking shit about the manager. He was just saying, this is why I have to do defensive work quite often. But actually, I want to attack more. I want to go more front, but I have to also make sure I'm defending too. And for me, right, that defensive stat of last season when we had the best defense and, we were very difficult to break and one of the best defenses in the top 5 leagues in Europe and blah, blah, blah. I think all of that, in my opinion, has got into Arteta's head, which is why he is so scared to concede goals that he doesn't let our attackers attack fast. He doesn't let our attackers stay front and wait for counterattacks. I was watching the Liverpool game at the same time on my phone, and even with one man down, the way they get the ball from the back and start sprinting forward and committing people forward, it's cojones that our manager doesn't have. It's been instilled in them from Klopp. That's how Pep plays his games. I know people will laugh at Pep right now, 1 win in 11. I get it. It's horrendous. But the one thing you can give Pep is he does this because that's his mentality, and he wants to dominate and attack and score goals everywhere he goes. And that's why his team has been quite successful. If you look, I'm just going to land on this. If you look at the last 10 to 15 years, guys, the most successful teams, the best teams in the world, and I'll name them right now: Man City, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Barcelona. In the last 10 to 15 years, these have been the dynasties of the last 15 years. No, Chelsea's not been a dynasty. Chelsea have had 2 good years. They've not been a dynasty. Like Liverpool have had a dynasty. Like
if you win,
the common thing between them.
If you win a Champions League, they won a Champions League.
No. When I say dynasty, I mean a team that challenges and competes.
They won a Champions League.
Listen, Solz. Listen, Solz. What I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. When I'm saying, by the way, the team that won the Europa League, wasn't the same team that won the Champions League. They had like new players back then. That's when they signed.
So what does that mean? It was within the last 15 years that I'm saying.
No, but it wasn't the same team. I'm talking about Barcelona had a dynasty. They had a team that for 4, 5, 6 years won Champions Leagues, won leagues, challenged again and again. Bayern Munich, same thing. Liverpool, same thing. Man City, same thing. And Real Madrid, same thing.
Liverpool won 1 league or 1 Champions League.
Yeah, but Liverpool won it in 2019. They challenged in 2018, reached the finals. They 22, they reached the finals.
Okay. So we're counting challenges.
Yeah. I'm counting dynasties, because dynasty means you have not just done it 1 season. You have 3, 4 years where you're challenging and you're winning. Liverpool won the Premier League. They won the Champions League. That's why I'm counting them.
But look, I think
let me stand this point. Because I just named the teams. I just named the teams. Those 5. If you look at those 5 teams, right? If you look at this guy's just like that. He knows what I'm gonna get him. If you look at those 5 teams, right? The common thing between them, right, is that they're all attack-minded. They don't play a defensive game. There's points as well in their seasons where they would leave their wingers forward because they just want to overload the box. They want to make sure they commit people. Forget Bayern of like the treble. Even Bayern last season when they played against us in the quarterfinals, right? There was a time in the Allianz Arena when they had 6 people or 5 people inside their box, and the score was 0-0 at the time. So it's not like they were losing by a big margin or something like that. So my point is, if we want Arsenal to eventually get to that level, we have to be more attack-minded. My concern with Arteta, because that's how I'm looking at my team and how my manager. I'm looking at us. I want us to eventually get there, right? So every manager I rate at Arsenal, every player I rate at Arsenal has to be a player that can contribute to that goal. My concern with Arteta, and this is where I want you to give me your opinion on it, is that he has turned from an attacking-minded coach from 2 seasons ago to having, yes, he has a blended approach, But he's too scared to concede now that he's always going to have a reserved system. And that reserved system, in my opinion, is not going to lead us to winning the Premier League. It's not going to lead us to winning the Champions League. And that's why if he regresses as this season, I don't think he should be given that chance because he's not going to change that. Managers don't change their personality. It's like Wenger. Wenger was the opposite. He was too attacking. He never cared about defense. And no matter what happens until his last season, he never changed that, right? That's something that's not going to change. And that's why for me, if Arteta regresses as the season, because if he wins the Champions League or the Premier League with this style, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I'll celebrate it. I'll win. I'll say keep the style forever. If he doesn't, then he has to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, Ashraf, just summarize. Obviously, I know obviously we're a bit short of time. Just obviously, look, I understand that, and I think the style of play has not been as good. Arteta at times has come out second half after being in the lead and played more defensive football, sat back. We are relying a lot more on corners. The fluidity isn't there. As I said, there's been a lot of up and downs this season already. We've had Odegaard out for a month. We were forcing out wide. We're Partey playing at right back, which again, his fault again. But again, playing different types of football, the football that I don't agree with actually. But look, ultimately, I still believe in the manager. I still believe in this team. I still believe in the squad. I feel like we have a long season to go. I think the league's out. The Champions League, again, is hit or miss. But again, it's an unlikely chance. And we have all the domestic cups here we can do in there. All we can do is take it one game at a time. If Arteta does,
I don't give a shit about it.
Yeah,
if we get knocked out by Crystal Palace, I wouldn't care, honestly.
Yeah, and if Arteta obviously does regress us this season, let's give him one more season to get into the market, learn from his mistakes, make some signings, especially in the forward position, because it will come down to that. And then hopefully next year we have the season better with injuries. We're better. We have obviously Ben White back, Timber. Maybe Calafiori's there. We signed some new attackers. We restructured the team, and maybe we can go for a league next season. If next season he does again take us down and we regress next season after he's had a chance to fix the problems, then in my opinion, Arteta should leave Arsenal. Until then, Arteta will be at Arsenal. And look, what I said to you right now is what I want to happen as a fan, and also what will happen in the Arsenal hierarchy as well, by the way. So that's my views align with what I know the Arsenal hierarchy is really like. Every manager gets time to fix his issues. Arteta has bought himself time. He's not regressed us year on year. He hasn't had multiple years of bad play. I know fans want to see trophies and achievements. We all want to see it. I want to win a league.
I want to see progression. I don't even want to see trophies. I want progression.
I want to win a league so bad. I promise you, I want to win a league so bad. Because if we progress this season, Ashraf, and we finish on 91 points in the same position as last season with no trophies, 91 points, we've progressed by mathematical numbers by 2 points, but we've not won a league. That to me will be even more of a disappointment, because it's like,
no, it is disappointing for sure, but it doesn't change the fact that it's progression, because at least then I can say, well, he is improving year on year. He is doing a better job year on year. Unfortunately, some other team just had a mammoth of a season and tipped him to it. But if he regresses and makes it easier, then I'm sorry, I'm not just looking at other teams anymore. I'm also looking at him, because I agree with what you said in the earlier start of the video, which is, it's not our given right to win the league, right? There are other teams that we're competing against. There are 20 teams that challenge. Obviously, not challenge. Let's say 3 or 4 of them challenge or try to challenge, and in the end, only one of them can win. So I'm not saying it's our God-given right to win the league, but we have to at least challenge at the very minimum. And if we end up getting tipped by a better team, and if we end up progressing, that's enough for me.
And look, it could. I'll be honest with you, it could get worse for me. I am not saying that I think, we're going to end up winning. I still think it could be a little better. Again, Liverpool could drop. We may even challenge them. I don't think we're going to win the league. But again, in my opinion, it could get worse. I'm just making sure that's out there now, even at this point in the season, because I do see a big problem in our style of play. I see a big problem in our forward line. I see a big problem in our clinicality issue. And some of these things are Arteta's problems. Some of these things are players that have been exposed that need to step up. Sterling. We can't week on week just look at Martinelli miss clear goal scoring opportunities and we let it go because he had one good season for us. We can't keep overlooking Trossard.
But that doesn't matter. Everything you're saying
is on the
manager.
Ashraf, look, I'll be honest with you, bro. Yeah, I'm going to be pretty honest. You're one of these fans that are going to just, I know what sort of fan you are, okay? And you sit there, when things go wrong, you just, you put everything on the table and go, manager, sack him.
Again, that's absolute waffle. You're talking out of your ass, because I've been on many streams the last 1 month.
That's fine, but
taking heat.
you're not
for
even.
praising
No.
Arteta.
It's not that, because you're not. I'm sitting there criticizing players that are not performing well, and you're still bringing up. You're bringing up the manager again.
That is on the manager, because when
That's your opinion. I don't care what you've got to say. I don't care.
when multiple players,
That's
Solz, you're a
okay.
smart man.
That's fine.
You know,
That's
when
fine.
multiple players are playing bad, it is something to look at
That's
the manager, especially when
fine.
they've all
That's
been good.
fine. We've criticized the manager enough. The players also deserve flipping blame. We can't just go manager. Oh, Martinelli misses a clear goal scoring opportunity. Arteta's fault. Jesus misses a hat-trick of chances. Arteta's fault. Bro, keep my opinion to yourself. Go
The Fulham game and the Fulham game and the Everton game, they weren't like
let me summarize my point. Let me summarize my point. Players need to start taking their opportunities, look themselves in the mirror, start playing better. It's unacceptable from Martinelli, the performances that he's dropping week on week. Unacceptable from Jesus when he has a chance to come on. Unacceptable from Trossard as well. Shocking performances recently. It's unacceptable. Arteta also unacceptable for him. Dropping Odegaard in the 60th minute, putting on Jorginho at 0-0 against Everton. Put on Partey at right back. So many things. Coming out defensive, playing more defensive football. I understand Arteta deserves a lot of blame, and there's a lot of heat on his head right now from fans like you and fans like XYZ. But the players need to step up as well and show why they're getting paid what they're getting paid and play for the badge. Because at the moment, they're not playing for the badge, and they're shimmying around. The only players that can that can keep their head up high are in our forward line. I mean, is obviously Saka. And that's it. And maybe Havertz. Even he's been not as good this season as he was when he came in at last. So, but ultimately, also we're leaking goals at the back from teams, and we were much better defensively. Again, Kiwior against Fulham.
Saliba is bad. Kiwior is bad. Gabriel is bad.
Saliba's not bad. But again, bro, the point is this. The point is this. If Gabriel was playing against Fulham, Jimenez doesn't score that goal. Kiwior made a mistake against.
Astaghfirullah.
No, that's
why didn't we score more goals against Fulham then?
And
was that Kiwior as well?
And I've just criticized our attackers, bro. They're not mutually aligned. You can criticize the attackers and the defenders.
I understand.
You want to find.
Anyways, guys, clearly we're not going to agree on this.
You want to find a sole blame. Find your sole blame. I'm looking.
No. I'm not finding a sole blame. Solz. The whole point of this video. The whole point of this discussion was
Arteta, and I've made my point about him. That's it.
Yeah, I agree, but you haven't made a logical point about why.
No. I just told you he gets one more year. You go into the window, try and fix the problem. You can't fix the problem. You go. Excuse my language. That's it.
Can I ask you a question? Let's say that happens. He gets one more year. He challenges next season. He actually improves on this season, but we don't win anything major. But he does. He has an amazing season. 93 points. Champions League final. Blah blah blah. But he doesn't win shit. Then what? Does he stay then, or does he get sacked?
Well, I think you can answer that question. No manager.
No. I'm asking you.
Okay,
I'm asking you.
I'll answer the question. No manager in history has ever got sacked after getting 93 points. So there's your answer.
Okay. So basically, if he regresses this season, he's not given one more season to try and win something. He's given one more season to progress us again. This is what I'm saying. You're gonna come back to my point.
It's not a given. It's not a given to win a Premier League, bro. It's not a given. It's not a given.
Yes, I agree. But
why
are you so afraid? Can I ask you a question? Outside your emotional attachment to Arteta,
I don't have.
Why are you against? If we find a better manager in the market that can take this
I
club
don't
to
have
another
an
level.
emotional attachment to Arteta. I told you what.
So then, why? Okay, why do you want to give him one more year if we can get someone in the summer that could win us the league not win us the league, but give us a better chance at winning the league next season? Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Because I saw him take us within inches of winning the Premier League. So I think he knows the style of play that he needs to win the Premier League. He knows how to play attacking football. He knows how to pull out away performances. He knows how to do because he's done it and he's proved he's done it. He hasn't took us all the way to the finish line. We were up against super teams. We were up against a team. We were up against we were up against a super team. You fans cannot comprehend that when you look at something on face value, you have to look at all the aspects of why something didn't happen before you make a judgment on it. For example,
we do.
For example, if I'm driving a Peugeot and Ashraf's driving a Ferrari and we race and Ashraf beats me by a millisecond, yes, I haven't achieved what I'm supposed to achieve because I still have a car and I should have won the race, but I wasn't supposed to win that race because Arteta's got a faster car.
Why are you giving false? I really wanted to end the stream, but you keep doing this shit. Why are you giving false equivalencies?
No, I'm saying last season. No, I'm saying last season and the season before. There's no shame.
No. 2 seasons ago, yes. Last season, no. Last season doesn't apply. Last season, it definitely doesn't apply. And this season, specifically, 100% it doesn't apply.
Okay,
I'll just end it on this before I read some comments and then we can leave.
You won the treble, right?
Wait. I just want to say this and then I'll read some comments and then we leave. I know Klopp quit. It's not like he was sacked. He obviously quit because he was tired. He wanted to rest, right? Imagine all those Liverpool fans right now who were thinking back then, and to be honest, it's a very natural way to think. It's fine. That, man, how are we going to survive this? We just lost a legendary manager who challenged for the league, who won us a league title, who won us a Champions League. And then a new manager comes in and is looks like he's flying this season in Europe and in the Premier League, right? Imagine if Chelsea had the same mindset, again, which is something I probably thought about, well, Pochettino is taking them on the upward trajectory towards the end of the season. He took them to 6th. They only lost 1 game in the last 15 Premier League games. In fact, they won 6 out of the last 6 games. Why should they sack Pochettino and get Maresca? And look how much better they are. I don't think they'll win the league. I don't think they'll challenge till the very end. But my point is they're clearly better.
Different job.
If we have one second, let me land because I need to read the points. I need to read the comments. The point is, I'm not someone who says sack Arteta or back Arteta. I'm saying we have to always look at context, right? The reality is if a manager doesn't win something major, he should be progressing the team year on year. That is the barometer. Now, some people might say that's a failure. Some people might say that's a failure mentality because they'll be like, why are you okay with just progression if it doesn't mean winning anything? And the reason I say that is because I know at least from internally from our job, we're improving. We're getting better. Right? Yes, we haven't won anything, unfortunately, and it sucks. Last season, we didn't win anything, but we were improving. And in my opinion, as long as we keep improving, at some point, we're going to get it. At some point, even if we're improving by 1 point every year until we get to the 115 points, at some point, we're going to win the league. Or we're going to regress. Or we're going to regress in the points and we're going to win the league. Exactly. Yes. But the point is, at some point, we are going to catch to that team because those teams have.
For example, it's looking like this season, Liverpool are up against Maresca's Chelsea to win a Premier League. We were up against treble-winning City to win a Premier League. It's 2 different teams.
No. Stop. First of all, Liverpool are doing well regardless of what the other competition are doing because their record is amazing so far. Secondly, Liverpool at the start of the season were up against Man City and Arsenal. And it's not their fault that Man City and Arsenal fell off.
It's not their fault. I'm not giving Liverpool credit. I'm just saying if City were as good as they were last in the season before, Liverpool would have more pressure on
Liverpool might have still won it.
But Liverpool would have had more pressure on them. These things have.
So what? They have been through pressure before.
That's fine. Have been through pressure. And they're a top team, bro. And I have raved about Liverpool.
And so are we. But anyways, I'm just going to read some comments quickly. 1 second, I'm just going to read some comments and finish. I'm not going to read all the comments, but I want to read some. Obviously, guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share the video. I don't want to go all the way far back, so I'll actually start. LFC Aaron says your argument is so full of holes. I agree, Aaron. He doesn't want to see that. Morpheus says, Ash, you think if Martinelli scored 10 goals last season, we win the league? He's never criticized. Morpheus, I am criticizing Martinelli. By the way, I was in a heated argument with Saad at the start of the season where I said that everyone keeps giving Martinelli excuses. He needs Moreno. He needs Chaka. He needs a left back to who overlaps. It's absolute bullshit. He's been shit because he's been shit. All I'm saying is Martinelli being shit and this guy being shit, it's one thing. But I'm talking about why are we in this position where we are? It's not because of Martinelli. It's not because of this player. It's because of the manager overall. If you had to put 70% or 80% of the blame on someone, it is on Arteta. That was my point. Elias says people are just afraid that if Arteta goes, you go back to mediocrity, but they shouldn't be. Exactly, Elias, because we have a great squad. This is not 2019 anymore. The new manager is not coming and taking over a team that Arteta came and took in 2019. He's taking over a team that challenged for the league twice. The Arteta build that Arteta has taken to a good level, and that currently has 4 world-class players, right? And that Solz himself says we have world-class players.
I can't wait for a new manager to come in and say, "Oh, I didn't buy him.
Sure, because that's what Slot and Maresca did. Amazing, exactly.
Yeah. Keep using them as benchmarks. Act like the only two managers that have ever joined the league.
LFC Aaron just mocked Liverpool for challenging. Exactly. He just mocked Liverpool for challenging, but then he praises Arsenal for challenging last 2 seasons.
I just want to say this as well. Make sure I bring it up, and this is a very common.
So I just want to finish the comment so we can leave.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Your last point.
In my opinion, Ashraf is highly deluded. He's a delusional.
I'm not. Honestly, I'm not deluded because
now it's time for you to prove.
This is someone who said. By the way, ask Solz right now. If we finish the league this season with like 68, 69 points and we finish outside the top 4, he'll still say Arteta should stay in one more season. That's his logic.
Correct.
Who exactly? Who's more deluded now? Anyways, I'll leave it to I'll leave
Why
it for
is
you
that
guys to
deluded?
comment. I'll leave it for you guys to comment who's been more deluded this stream, me or Solz. Just a few more. Just a few more.
Luckily, football is a
Um,
matter of opinion. Luckily.
the reason Chelsea won the EPL or USL span every 2
Uh,
seasons because
watch
Roman
your
very
language.
often stacked managers. I agree with that, Lutfan, but I don't think it's something we should do. But I'm not saying Arsenal should sack a manager every 2 seasons.
Why did he say Chelsea
Um,
shit?
he's an Arsenal fan. I don't know.
No, but why did you say Chelsea shit?
Yeah, that's why I changed it in the end. Sorry, Chelsea fans, I corrected it. Ilya says also having the same manager for 5 years and every time you don't get your objective, the players also will stop believing. Just look what happened with Poch at Spurs, bro. Exactly, 100%. 100%. These players, it's very easy for these players to stop believing. And if we go this season, a season where a lot of people had us challenging, and some of them had us as favorites to win the league. Because I watch a lot of pundits. I watch a lot of pundits. One second. So you say you want to leave, and then you cut the comments.
And I would agree with Ashraf and CFC Ilyas. If next season he starts again, makes his rebuild.
Yeah, it's irrelevant because I guarantee you, Solz next year will find an excuse to keep him even one more year. But anyways, my point is, a lot of pundits this summer.
That's what you're saying. You know what I'm saying?
Had us as favorites to win the league. So I agree, Ilyas. Players can lose confidence in the manager. There's a very good chance that could happen. LFC Aaron says also he wants to count chalk when it comes to Arsenal, but not Liverpool. Exactly. Aaron, there's a lot of hypocrisy with Solz's comments.
LFC Aaron, don't make me get on to Liverpool. I don't know why you're sitting there all bare gassed up.
They're top of the league, top of the Champions League. There's nothing you can say about them. Bro.
That's fine.
There's nothing you can say about them.
We were in that position last season, the season before. It doesn't mean nothing until you win it. The point I'm making is this.
There's a few more Solz. There's just a few more. I'm almost done.
Yeah, just make sure you know who. I don't know how old you are, but if you are in the ranges of 25 to 30,
he is quite no. LFC Aaron has watched football since the 80s or something, bro. You're not gonna chat shit to him. He knows football.
So no, not about that. So
he saw the 80s. He saw the 80s. Yes.
So you was there when Liverpool won the Premier League before it was called Premier League title, as you guys call it. That's fine.
Yes.
In the modern day
era. So your
era,
comment doesn't work on him. Solz has never watched us win the league, by the way.
In the modern day era, I'm just saying, in the modern day era, you've seen your club win one Premier League
and two Champions Leagues. So what does that have to do with anything?
I'm talking about domestic. He's talking about the league. He's talking about the league. He's talking about the league.
You realize they have won as many majors as we have in that same Premier League
then
era.
Go on his channel and then bumlick Liverpool. I don't care about
Aaron, do you have a channel? But I don't think Aaron has a channel. But Aaron, if you have a channel, I'll tune in. I promise you.
Aaron, it's all love.
Just because he took us to compete again does not mean we can let him overstay when he won nothing the last 4 seasons after spending 700 million. Again, I don't agree with the 700 million comment part, Lutfan, but I do agree with you. We cannot just say he can overstay one more season. I think it makes zero sense. There was just 2 more I wanted to show before we can end this. Where's the comment? Did I lose it?
Yeah. And obviously, guys, look, I know. Obviously, we have our debates and we have.
Solz, Habibi, last 2 comments. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know we have our debates and we have our back and forths. But it's been lovely to join Ashraf's channel. I want to be on a lot more. So yeah, it'll be good to come back on soon. And if you guys want to catch me on any socials or any channels, I'll be on AFTV over the weekend against Palace.
I'm actually gonna drop his description, his socials in the description, guys. So make sure you guys go and follow.
And if you guys have any sort of pointers, please feel free to leave a comment. And yeah, obviously I'm very, very sick right now, so it's not one of my best performances, but we'll be back stronger soon. Me and Ashraf are both sick. Why for that? But,
we are both sick. Yeah, 100%.
We're not in the same place, by the way. We're in very different places.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Like I mean, like we're not together.
Yeah. We're in different locations. Yeah. But we are very sick. Cool. Yes, CFC Ilyas. I do have a Twitter or IG. I'm actually gonna post it in the comments, so you can DM me there.
Anyway,
I'm gonna post Solz thing. Anyways, I'm gonna put 1 second. Let me just post this here. 1 second, Solz. I just want to share it with him, and then I'm gonna end the stream. How do I share this damn thing? Yeah. There you go, Ilyas. I've posted in the comments. It's Gunner_Ash. Cool, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been a crazy stream. I'm going to actually put in the title Heated Debate because there was quite a heated debate, which made it very interesting. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. And I'll catch you guys on the next. I'll try to do this weekly with Solz. So we'll hopefully give you guys more content.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Big up,
Thank
guys.
you. Thanks,
See you.
Ashraf.
Big up.